I'm sure you've all heard now that there are unsealed documents from the Johnny Depp and Amber Heard case. I'm sure you've all heard about it, you're all aware of it, and I just want to go through an article that I read today and kind of break down my thoughts on the whole thing. So the article in question is on theguardian.com. I'm sure you've all heard of The Guardian before. It's an article called "New Documents from the Johnny Depp v Amber Heard Trial have been unsealed and things have only gotten uglier." So I'm sure you've all heard of this already. The Guardian was actually quite late to this story, but I thought this article in particular was quite funny. Around 6,000 pages of court documents were recently unsealed, providing a lot of unpleasant new information about Depp. It was Johnny Depp fans that caused this in the first place. I think it was a GoFundMe or something, or one of those sites where they tried to collect money so that they could pay the fees to unseal all of the other evidence that Johnny Depp and his team had, thinking that it would unearth some disgusting new evidence about Amber Heard, but apparently that's not at all what happened. So I really like this line here. "The documents were packed with nasty nuggets of information about Depp and illuminate to the extent to which his legal team weaponized misogyny throughout the trial." Yes, I remember that from watching the trial. I do remember them turning hate against women into a weapon. One of the nastiest bits of information in the documents might be the claim that Depp's legal team tried to submit nude pictures of Heard into evidence and attempted to bring up her brief stint as an exotic dancer. It's not clear what nude pictures they were referring to, and these were ultimately not relied on in the trial, but in 2014, Heard's iCloud account was hacked and hundreds of naked photos of her were released online, causing her understandable distress. Not relevant, by the way, that doesn't make any difference to the trial. If Depp did try to have these photos trotted out in a live televised trial, it looks a lot like revenge porn. Can I just take a second to bring up the logical side of why they would have tried to submit those pictures? It certainly isn't revenge porn. It's because if she was injured and she had bruises or scratches on her body, you would see them in those nude images. I don't see why they're going out of their way to paint Johnny Depp as this evil man that's trying to release these images to the public. It was in a trial, and to my understanding, any evidence is still evidence. Right? So that it's still evidence. It wasn't used in the trial, but had it been used in the trial as evidence, it would have been just that. Evidence. It's not like Johnny Depp specifically picked those images and thought, haha, this'll teach Amber Heard. It doesn't make sense. Why would he do that? Why would he bother? This line also is hilarious. It's also a horrible reminder that if a woman doesn't lead a perfectly chaste life, the world will find a way to cast her as a slut who is responsible for anything that happens to her. Again, this isn't relevant at all. It feels like whoever wrote this article was just trying to pander to an audience, just trying to write it as a way to almost make it seem like Johnny Depp is this horrible guy that is calling Amber Heard a slut and showing off her nude images to the public. It's definitely not what's happening here. Why are these articles being written? Just show us what the documents said and we'll make up our own minds. It has been reported that in the unsealed documents were text messages from Depp's then assistant about the time the actor allegedly kicked Heard on a flight, which, going off what happened during the trial, there was some audio where Johnny Depp was trying to get some personal space and Amber Heard was constantly in his personal space, and he, I believe, pushed her slightly away to get some personal space, and then she brought that up as evidence to say that he was shoving her. Just a quick note, actually, while I'm editing this, it wasn't that Amber Heard was in his space, she actually hit him, and he pushed her away to try and avoid fighting her.
I'm not gonna be in a physical fucking altercation with you.
Then don't.
You fucking hit me last night. You fucking...
What about all the other times you split? Come on, you cannot act like that. It's about that. It's not.
Well, on a plane, I can't split.
No, and you hit back, so don't act like you don't fucking participate.
I pushed you.
I'm not gonna get into the details of that fight.
I can tell you there's a huge difference between lightly pushing someone away and shoving someone. There's a huge difference. Depp's legal team's cynical attempt to implicate Heard in the death of a friend who died in a car accident. I don't know why they'd include that, but that's not on Johnny Depp, that's on his legal team. As it's written there in the article, that is completely down to his legal team. Sure, the legal team can't really do much without Depp's say. Like your PR or your legal team or your whatever, they can't do anything without you giving them the go-ahead to do it. But it wasn't used in the trial, which again is like, why are we bringing it up if it wasn't used? Clearly someone said you can't use that to the legal team, and that could have been Depp himself saying, you know what, we can't use this evidence in the thing because it doesn't make sense. The fact that Heard willingly walked away from tens of millions of dollars she was entitled to in her divorce proceedings with Depp, again, I don't know why that's there. I don't see how that paints either of them in a better or worse light. It's kind of just a fact, you know. I don't get why that matters. A statement from Depp saying Heard had never caused him physical or mental injury. Okay, so that's an interesting one. I like the fact that everyone is just kind of glossing over the fact that Depp, even during the court trial, said that he never wanted to make a big deal out of it. He always wanted to keep it as a private thing, and he always claimed that whatever injuries he had or anything like that was not Amber Heard's fault, and in fact it just happened to happen, or it was something he did or whatever. You can see that in any of the interviews he was in. There's a clip of him at one of those like Make-A-Wish things or some other charity thing where he's dressed up like Jack Sparrow, and some kid asked about his finger and he said, "Oh, I bit it off."
What happened to your finger?
My finger? I bruised it very badly. I ate it, I bit it off. I was starving. I was starving, I bit my finger. I ate it, the tip of it. Just a little. Nail wasn't good.
And there was another clip of him at one of these like press conference things or whatever it was, one of those kind of things where someone else sitting at the table asked him what happened to his finger, and he kind of just shrugged it off and didn't really say anything.
And personally, Johnny is one of the most soulful and kind-hearted and gentle humans that I know.
It's only now after the trial that we all know that like it was Amber Heard that injured his finger and all this. A statement from Depp saying that she never caused him physical or mental injury, if that's a statement from before the trial, then that doesn't matter. It quite literally does not matter. There's also reports that aren't mentioned here. Apparently something else that was in the leaked documents from their like couples therapist or marriage counselor or whatever it was, I can't really remember, saying that Johnny Depp abused Amber Heard. But you see, the thing is, if Amber Heard and Johnny Depp are both together in the room with the therapist, Johnny Depp isn't going to turn around to the therapist and say, yes, this woman that's sitting beside me is an abuser. She hurts me and cuts me with glass bottles and throws them at me. And he's not going to do that because I don't know if the people that write these articles or the people that are now going, oh my god, Johnny Depp's such a bad guy, I don't know if they've ever been in an abusive relationship. I haven't, thank God. I've never experienced it myself, but I know people that have, And I know from them that when you're in an abusive relationship, it's very hard to tell people about it, especially if you're the guy in the relationship. If you're a guy in a relationship and your partner is abusive and injures you quite often, and you go to tell people, there's a good chance they're not going to believe you. And that's the problem with this whole case, is so many people didn't believe Johnny Depp until there was evidence shown. And there's a really sad clip during the court case where Johnny Depp himself says that he was guilty until proven innocent.
Mr. Depp, how did you feel when you learned that you were being dropped from the Pirates of the Caribbean franchise?
Captain Jack Sparrow was a character that I had built from the ground up, was something that I of course put a lot of my, as you do with all characters, but you put a lot of yourself into the characters, having added much of myself, much of my own rewriting of the dialogue and scenes and the jokes and whatever they are. I didn't quite understand how that, after that long relationship and quite a successful relationship, certainly for Disney, that suddenly I was guilty until proven innocent.
And it's really hard to watch the case, personally, for me, because it's so obvious that Johnny Depp is really upset throughout the whole thing. You can see it on his face, you can hear it in what he's saying. And anyone that's actually watched the case will know that Johnny Depp is innocent for the most part and isn't the abuser or the main abuser in the relationship. Sure, maybe he pushed her or kicked her, like this article says, but that could very easily have just been in self-defense. You never hear anyone talking about self-defense in this case because, oh my god, you can't hit a woman, and suddenly because, oh my god, you can't hit a woman, it's just like, oh, Johnny Depp hit a woman and now he's guilty. For the most part, what I've seen is Johnny Depp is defending himself, and then it gets taken out of context, and then suddenly, oh my god, now like he's a wife beater and he's this evil domestic abuser. It's like, come on, man. Like, you wouldn't say that if a woman defended herself against a toxic partner. You'd be like, oh my god, she's so brave. I can't believe she did that. But if a man does it, it's suddenly, oh my god, he's just as bad as she is. You see where I'm coming from? It's sad to see stuff like this. There's one last thing here. Disturbing text messages between Depp and the musician Marilyn Manson, who's been accused of abuse by more than a dozen women. Listen, I've texted a few people before that I don't like, okay? I've sent disturbing messages to people. We've all sent, well, I won't say we've all, I'm not going to speak for everyone, but a lot of people, including myself, have sent messages before that you read over, like, later on, you go, what the hell, man? What was I thinking? Especially when you're drunk. And Johnny Depp happened to have a habit of being drunk quite a bit. And I know, like, oh my god, no, he was a drunk. Because of that, he's clearly an abuser. Or at least that's the evidence that Amber Heard's legal team was trying to use. I don't know why. I think what we need to remember from this whole trial is Amber Heard, not only did she abuse Johnny Depp, she admitted to it. No, I didn't deck you. I didn't punch you. I hit you. Sorry, I hit you, but I didn't punch you. Still abuse. Doesn't matter what kind of physical contact you made with the person. If it was done with the intent to hurt someone, it is abuse. Or assault, at the very least. No one's talking about this. I will play the clip right now. I have it open right here.
I didn't punch you, by the way. I'm sorry that I didn't hit you across the face in a proper slap, but I was hitting you. It was not punching you. You're fine. I did not hurt you. I did not punch you. I was hitting you.
How are you?
What am I supposed to do? Do this? I'm not sitting here about it, am I? You are. That's the difference between me and you. You're a baby.
There is evidence that not only shows but proves that Amber Heard was hitting Johnny Depp. Alright, and I know, oh, she was hitting him, so what? You wouldn't like it too much if I stood right in front of you and just backhanded you across the face and said, no, I didn't hit you, I just gave you a little slap, bro, come on. It would still hurt, you probably still wouldn't like it very much. You can't tell me, after I've played that clip, you cannot tell me that Amber Heard is innocent. You could say, oh, they're just as bad as each other, maybe at a push. But after this trial, you cannot tell me that Amber Heard is completely innocent, alright? The fact that there is so much evidence of her being abusive and there's none of him. Do you understand what I'm saying? And I've watched so much of the trial and not a single thing during the trial convinced me that Johnny Depp is abusive. Not even the texts that were sent. We've all made some terrible jokes at some point, right? Johnny Depp seems to have a very dark sense of humor. It's clear that a lot of what he says is joking. Oh, when you're drunk, you say things that you don't actually mean. You could very easily just blame a lot of what Johnny Depp has said through text messages as, oh, he was just drunk, or he did some drugs earlier on. Yes, he has admitted to using drugs, but there's no actual evidence of it. I quite liked the very, well, I'm not going to say it was staged, but the staged image that Amber Heard tried to submit as evidence of some lines of flour on the table, and it's like, okay, but Johnny Depp's not even in the picture. So what does this prove? It doesn't prove anything. Like, it's just a picture of a table.
This is a photograph you took in March of 2013, right?
That is correct.
And this was taken at your apartment in Orange?
Yes.
And this is your breakfast table?
That is correct.
And it's your testimony that Mr. Depp left this breakfast table just the way you took it?
That is correct.
So this is what the table looked like after Mr. Depp had been doing
flour.
Well, clearly he has yet to snort these lines.
There are 4 lines
flour
on this table, right, Ms. Heard?
In this picture, I see 4 lines.
There isn't any
flour
residue around those lines, right?
Not that I can tell, no.
Doesn't really look like anyone's been doing
flour
off that table, does it?
With all due respect, I'm not sure you know how that works.
I'm asking if you do. You've testified you've done
flour.
I have.
Doesn't really look like Mr. Depp or anyone was drinking
flour
off that table, does it?
I beg to differ with you on that. When you snort,
flour,
typically it goes into your nose.
And
it doesn't stay
residue,
on the table.
There's residue from that
flour
when your lips and nose touch the table, right? Mr. Depp is a pretty heavy smoker, right?
He is.
And that's a cigarette in the ashtray in the back there? Back right?
Yes, it looks like one of his hand rolls.
There's no other cigarettes in that ashtray, are there?
I see 1 cigarette.
The one that's not smoked?
That's correct.
There's no ash in that ashtray either, is there?
Not that I can tell in this picture.
And you sent this picture to your friend, Rocky Pennington, as well, didn't you?
I sure did.
So you have a habit of sending staged photographs to your friend Rocky, don't you?
I had a habit of communicating with my best friend about what was going on in my life.
You don't have any pictures of Mr. Depp actually consuming
flour,
do you?
I don't think I have a picture of him mid-snort. No.
You don't even have any pictures of Mr. Depp with
flour.
What do you mean by that?
Holding
flour,
standing next to
flour,
sitting next to
flour.
I don't know. I don't know.
Well, you haven't shown any of those pictures like that to the jury, have you?
I don't know. No, I haven't.
The last thing I want to say before I finish off this video is we all have to remember that Amber Heard, this is the woman that took a shit in Johnny Depp's bed and then tried to blame it on his dogs.
And Depp claimed Amber left a rather disgusting present for him after they argued around the time of her 30th birthday.
My side of the bed was human fecal matter, and she tried to blame it on the dogs. Sorry, I could not agree with her. I'd lived with those dogs. I picked up their fun. It was not the dogs.
I'm not going to call her crazy because that would apparently be misogynistic, but she's a bit fucking nuts, let's be real. Thank you guys so much for watching this video. If you want to watch another video talking about this trial, there's an end screen there that you can click on right now. It's talking about the verdict that was just after the trial finished. So go watch that. I hope you enjoy it, and I'll see you all next time. Bye. High five.